what's up everybody? This is VisitJoan, and today we're going to be answering the age-old question, why do the Pleasant twins have red hair? Okay, it's only been around for 15 years, but who's counting? Now, those of you familiar with The Sims 2 will recall that unlike The Sims 3 and The Sims 4, genetics in The Sims 2 actually works similar to the way it does in real life, with dominant and recessive traits. In fact, dark hair colors such as black and brown actually is dominant over light hair colors like red and blonde. And when you look at the Pleasant family, it would make a lot more sense for Angela and Lilith to have black hair. So why are they redheads? The simple answer is that they were made and created Sim, and whoever created them thought they looked better with red hair, which I actually have to agree with. But in the context of Trouble in Paradise, where they are real people, we can take everything we know about the Sims and just throw it out the window, because in reality, our hair color isn't determined by somebody clicking on a computer screen. Unless we're all, nope, not going that route. In reality, our traits, such as hair color, is determined by our DNA, which basically is present in all life on Earth. From the birds eating at the bird feeder, to Cordy and her pigloo over there, to the hay that she is eating, all of it has DNA. Now, DNA is basically what makes us us. It determines that I'm a human, Cordy is a guinea pig, and that animal on the bird feeder out there is in fact a squirrel and not a bird. The entire human genome is compacted into 23 chromosomes. And if you remember anything from biology class, you may recall that humans have 46 chromosomes in nearly every cell. Do the math and you'll find out that that's 2 copies of everything, one of which we get from each of our parents. Fun fact for you guys, Cordy actually has 64 chromosomes, which is kind of interesting because you think humans would have more than guinea pigs, but I don't know, genetics is weird. Now, when parents have children, they actually pass down one set of traits, which is determined, well, not at random, it's by actually some weird, crazy stuff with chromosomes crossing over and all that stuff I don't want to get into by now. But basically, it's pretty much determined by which egg is released and which sperm happens to reach it first. I mean, this game is rated teen. I'm pretty sure we're all familiar with how babies are made. But long story short, we each have 2 copies of every gene, and these 2 copies come together to determine our traits. Now, although all of us share a vast majority of our DNA, there's actually a little bit that is unique to every individual. And this is the part of the DNA that is tested when you do, paternity tests and things like that to determine whether 2 people are actually related. It's also this small part of DNA that can have variations on genes called alleles. And a person can have 2 of the same alleles, or homozygous, or 2 different alleles, or heterozygous. Some of them actually work side by side, like in the case of the color of your skin, or what type of blood you have. Others, such as hair color, don't quite get along, and in fact one will actually dominate over the other one, and that's the trait that happens to be expressed. Now, there are actually several genes that probably determine the color of your hair. Science on that isn't quite exactly sure what's going on there. We're still trying to figure that out. But for the sake of this video, we're just going to condense it down into one gene that's located in the 16th chromosome called MC1R. This gene contains instructions for a certain protein that creates melanin, specifically 2 types, eumelanin or phenylanin? I don't know. I don't know if I said those correctly. I'll have the words on screen. Hopefully I spelled them right. Now, a person with darker hair, such as myself, actually produces more eumelanin than phenylanin. And a person who has blonde hair doesn't produce much of either of them. However, red hair is caused by one specific genetic mutation in the MC1R gene, which shuts off the eumelanin production but doesn't shut off the phenylanin production, so the hair gets a reddish color because phenylanin is actually kind of like a pink reddish hue. And actually there are several different variations of this allele which all cause red hair, but like I said, we're simplifying it down, so let's just consider it as one allele, okay? This particular allele is recessive to all other variants of the MC1R gene. So in order to have red hair, you have to carry 2 copies of that gene, because if any other gene is present, that's the color hair you'll have. So again, it would make sense looking at the Pleasant family for the twins to have black hair, but they don't. How is this possible? Well, let's look at one of these handy dandy things called a Punnett Square. Okay, so we're gonna put Daniel on top and Mary Sue at the side, and in the middle, in the 4 boxes, are all the combinations of alleles or genotypes that their children could possibly have. Now, since Daniel has red hair, we know that he only has the recessive version of the MC1R gene, which we will denote with a lowercase h. And yes, I know, I could use an R for red hair, but convention is that we use the same letter, so we're just going to stick with H for hair. Mary Sue, on the other hand, well, we don't really know what her genotype is just by looking at her. We know that she has at least one trait for black hair, but the second one could be anything. It could be another trait for black hair, or it could be something else. Now, it is possible to determine what the second allele is by looking at the person's family members and seeing what color hair they have. However, since Mary Sue was adopted and we don't know who her biological parents are, it actually was a complete mystery until she gave birth to 2 children with red hair. So what does this tell us? It means that Mary Sue has to carry the redhead allele. Now, since Daniel only has the redhead allele, that's the only thing he can ever give his children. But Mary Sue could either contribute a dominant black hair allele, which we'll denote with the capital letter H, or the redhead allele that she carries. If she in fact sends the black hair allele, then the resulting child will have black hair. However, if she sends the recessive allele instead, the resulting child will be a redhead. Now, looking at this Punnett Square, we can clearly see that if Daniel and Mary Sue had 4 children, each with a unique combination of alleles from their parents, 2 of them would have black hair and 2 of them would have red hair. Now, they didn't have 4 children, they had 2, and since those 2 are identical twins, that only counts as 1 set of DNA. But case in point, this Punnett Square tells us that Daniel and Mary Sue, in fact, have a 50% chance of having a red-haired child. And there you have it. That's how it's completely possible for the Pleasant twins to have red hair. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would really appreciate you leaving a like and a comment. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, or at least consider doing so. Also, you can follow me on social media if you want to see behind the scenes, fun facts, or just snippets of everyday life. Feel free to follow me on Instagram at VisitJoan. And if you want to see my thoughts on all things Sims related or hear announcements about videos and the schedule and all that wonderful stuff, feel free to follow me on Twitter at VisitJoanVideos. But I'm going to get up out of here, so have a nice day, everyone. Bye!